Hi everybody, it's Claire. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I thought I would do a video about how to cover melasma, or if you have hyperpigmentation. This also really works well for you if you are struggling with how to cover certain dark spots, maybe a little bit of redness with makeup. Now I know this can be really hard to do because you don't want it to look cakey. You also want to make sure you get the color right. So I do have some tips because I have been battling melasma for about 5 years now. I noticed the change in my hormones when I was about 25. I noticed a big change in my skin. I developed a lot of discoloration. For me, I got it mainly above the lip, underneath the eye area. Here's areas actually getting a lot worse recently. I get it above the eyebrow. It really just changes on the day-to-day and seasons, especially in the summertime. So SPF is very important if you are dealing with melasma. That is super important in your skincare. So what I did was first go ahead and apply some moisturizer. So that's what I have on right now. So any gentle moisturizer that you love, go ahead and apply that. And the next thing I like to do is go in with a primer that actually helps color correct. Now this is one of those crazy looking primers that is green and going to help with correcting the discoloration on the skin. If you look at the color wheel, it actually will show if you look at the opposite colors on the color wheel, what will cancel out and neutralize any sort of discoloration. So for me, I have a lot of redness and a lot of brown spots. So using a color correcting primer like this green tinted one here is going to combat that. And what I do is just apply it to my skin. It's really subtle. This doesn't even come out like that green. It's just a really subtle hint, and a lot of brands have this, so you don't even need to go as expensive as Smashbox. I think NYX has one, and a lot of drugstore primers are having one, so go ahead and choose one that suits your budget. It's going to kind of just counteract that redness and those brown spots in a very subtle way, but it's a good starting point for your makeup. So now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and go into another color correcting step. So I like to go in for a nice peachy tone shade to counteract any of the brown tones and pigment that might come through with melasma. So I'm gonna be using this Lancome Camouflage Corrector, and this is like one of my favorites for when clients have dark under eye circles. If they have melasma or anything like that, this is one of my favorite kind of full coverage products to cover. But I would just focus on using anything peachy that you own, whether you have a salmon color corrector, concealer. I've seen some people using a peach tone lipstick to do this. I've seen people use blush. Just try it out. But what peach is gonna do is block out any sort of the discoloration. So I'm just taking a little bit of this on the back of my hand, and you don't need very much of this in particular product. It's like goes such a long way. Go ahead and take a little brush. You can also use your finger. Dip it into that. I'm taking just a tiny bit again, and I'm going to start patting it on the areas where I have that discoloration. Now it's gonna look really funny at first because we are putting such a peachy shade directly on the areas where there is discoloration, and again for me it's mostly above my lip and on my cheeks. So I'm just going to take a brush and really just focus it there first. And also my other best tip for you guys is to look into the natural, I'm facing a window right now, which shows the truest color of what you're applying, because if you're doing this in the bathroom, you're going to not get a true color match, and you want to make sure everything is looking on point. So the darker pigmentation, the more coverage you might want. So you might want to pat the product in rather than swipe. That's going to put down more of it. Now I'm going to go up into the cheek area here, and it's already just blocking out those brown spots. Just really pat it in. Barely using this product. I have a good amount right in here. I'm gonna tackle that area. Also have a little bit above the brow. So now we've neutralized the skin using that peachy salmon tone corrector. I feel like this is a good stopping point, and now I'm gonna go in with my foundation that's gonna match my neck. So I like to use a full coverage one to help with my discoloration, but choose whatever you prefer. I'm also gonna be using a stick foundation. This one's by Hourglass. You can use whatever you want here, but I would just recommend to be really gentle since we just placed a lot of product down to neutralize. You just wanna make sure when you're going over the skin, that you're not moving the corrector too much. So almost just, you can even go around it a little bit, because when we blend everything out, we can go on top of those areas without disturbing the makeup. So I'm just gonna put a little bit here, close to the mustache area. I might put a little dot in the center. And then right here, you can either take a brush or a sponge. I'm gonna take this guy here, and it's a little bit damp. And you can see I'm like super gently patting into the skin. I'm starting in the center of the face, because whatever is getting on my sponge, I'm going to carry down onto the top of my lip, just like this. And again, I'm just patting it in. You don't want to leave it so it looks like an orange mustache going on. That's why I love a sponge. It's gonna look the most natural way to cover your melasma without it looking like you have a ton of layers of makeup on. Just wanna really just press it in, keep that coverage there. Kind of gently go over it. Just being conscious of those areas really is the most important thing. And that lip area is getting covered nicely. Sometimes what I do after I press that in all over, I will take a little bit more of that foundation on my little control brush and just pat it over top to really just ensure that that area is nice and evened out. And then pretty quickly after, what I'm gonna do now is go ahead and take my setting powder, which is close to my skin tone. You wanna make sure this stuff doesn't move. So right now I'm all kind of shiny, and I'm gonna take something like this Laura Mercier Flawless, what is this? Candle Glow Perfecting Powder. I'm just going to press that on top of all the areas where I put liquid and cream. And this is going to make it so that nothing peeks through, and then it lasts all day. I like this powder because it doesn't look too heavy. It's just going to add another layer to kind of really just prevent anything from showing through, and just extra coverage. So this is typically what I will do when I need to focus on those areas and color correct. This is just to get a nice even canvas, and I can move forward onto the rest of my eye makeup and face makeup. So I hope some of these tips help you guys out. If you have melasma, please let me know in the comment section below. Just know that you're not alone, and it's really common in a lot of women. And I know it's not fun and easy to do your makeup, but there are ways around it. The most important thing is to wear SPF and avoid being in direct contact with the sun. I know that's my biggest problem, and when I notice that, it becomes the most apparent for me. So if you guys are struggling with it, please let me know, or if you have any product recommendations that you really love, let's share with each other in the comment section. But I appreciate you guys being here as always. Let me know what you would like to see in the next video, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Take care. Bye.